Greetings again, Yat-e, Yat-e. Isn't it amazing? Isn't it amazing, this incredible, holy, beautiful gift of life? So I have the honor of saying a closing blessing here, and I wanted to bring some allies in to help here. So we have these medicines here, this sage and this sweetgrass. And what we say about this is that, from indigenous perspective, we say that we were the last to arrive here. And so we're the babies on the block, humanity. And that all these other relatives, the plants, standing nation, flying ones, swimming ones, creepy crawling ones, four-legged ones, that they already have come to understand how to be here, how to harmonize, how to conduct their life in such a way that they cause all of their life to thrive. And so there are certain allies that we have as human beings, and one of them is this sage medicine. And this sage stepped in and said, I can help these youngsters. I'd be willing to help these human beings harmonize, come to understand what it is to live on this earth and to be human being here. So I wanted to invoke some of this medicine here. So I'm taking in some of this medicine for myself. This medicine, we say it's a cleansing. And what do we mean by that? It's a cleansing. In some ways, I would say it's more of an aligning. It helps us to align. It helps us to drop into, I'll say the truth of life and our place in it. And so it takes out all other competing elements that we might have around us, other than that alignment with life, that alignment with our true nature, our true reason for being here. And so in these past few days, what a journey we've been on. What a collaborative journey we have been on with so many beautiful voices, so many beautiful pathways converging in this meeting. And so we've had way more than two or more have been gathered. And I really acknowledge that the holiness of that place. And so we've been on a journey together. And now, from this convergence, we're going to continue on. Maybe we're going to be going back to a home that is familiar, but maybe as a result of this convergence, we may be going on to some place that we haven't known before. And honestly, part of me really hopes that that's true. So I wanted to sing a traveling song for us here to feel that journey. And this song was created to acknowledge the traveling routes that went from Alaska to Antarctica, all through this continent, what we now call the Americas. And so what we say is all the different peoples had travelers that traveled on these roads. Some people call them trade routes, but I was told to call them kinship routes. And so we brought the best of our cultures, our understanding of how to be human being, everything that we've learned. And we took that on the road, and we encountered each other, and we encountered each other, and we encountered each other, and we shared what we had. And so in this way, we cross-pollinated. And in this way, we kept this land and ourselves healthy, in right mind, right heart, right body, right spirit. So I ask that you take in this sage medicine that's still burning here for yourself, and that you travel with me before I say these closing words and closing prayer. So you'll hear in this song two different rhythms, and these are two different ways, two different understandings of how to be here meeting. Way-ya, way-oh, way-oh, hey-ya, way-oh, way-oh, hey-ya, way-oh, way-ya, way-oh, way-ya, way-oh, way-oh, hey-ya, way-oh, way-oh, hey-ya, way-oh, way-ya, way-oh, 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 way-ya, way-oh, 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 way-ya, way-oh, way-ya, way-oh, way-oh, hey-ya, way-oh, way-oh, hey-ya, way-oh, way-ya, way-oh, way-ya, way-oh, way-oh, hey-ya, way-oh, way-oh, hey-ya, way-oh, way-ya, way-oh, 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 way-ya, way-oh, 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 way-ya, way-oh. I'm going to keep holding this medicine to be informed, and the song actually informs what needs to be said here. I thought to tell a personal story about two ways coming together. In the opening ceremony, I spoke about what took place in the residential boarding schools and the church's participation in that. And that's a very personal part of my own family story. My grandparents and my parents were taken to Dutch Christian Reformed missionary boarding schools. And so I'm the first generation. I'm the first generation to come out and who was not, I guess I'll say, subjected to this. And I want to say that, you know, from a younger generation perspective, I do see much of that process as a violation. A violation of culture, a violation of a people, a violation of one race upon another, a violation of one ideology imposing itself on another. But I also want to acknowledge that there are many indigenous peoples who have also adopted the Christian perspective and belief and spiritual practice. And so I was raised in the Dutch Christian Reformed Church myself. And the story that I want to tell is that as a young child, I was working with the fallout of the confusion that took place with this separating children from family, with the disruption of our culture and our lives, with the displacement of our peoples from our land, and consequently from our culture, because we can't have our culture unless we're also on the land from which it comes. That's hard for modern world to understand. That's constantly moving and moving and moving. So I went through some pretty difficult struggles that way. And I'm going to say that legacy is still playing out through my family, very personally. Ironically, I got a text from my daughter wanting to really discuss some very deep things about our relationship. And I attribute it to this fallout. And so as I've done my healing work, as I've tried to create a foundation within myself, as I spoke of in the opening, to really be able to make a place for the true acknowledgement of being interbeing with all my relations and all races. I will say that my young children still turn to the Christ, because that's who they were presented with when they were going through the very difficult things that occurred when they were young. I'm talking about my inner children. And so when things get really close to the bone, I guess you could say, when the trauma really comes up deep and hard, and I would say that I suffer from PTSD, they don't trust anybody else. The Christ is the one person that they trust. And I actually attribute it to the posters on the Sunday school rooms where I went to church, where there was a poster of Jesus calling all the children to come and sit on his lap. Even though all the adults around were saying, keep them out. We're busy over here. Jesus is saying something important. And what did Jesus say? Jesus said, no, let the children come. And that felt very reflective of what was taking place in my own life. The adults were trying to make sense of many things. The adults were trying to manage their own trauma. And so where was I to go? And here was this figure saying, bring the children to me. Bring the children to me. And so, in my Lakota tradition, we call upon different spirits, spirit helpers. And they come and they give us counsel. They come and they give us insight and vision. And so this might sound strange, but somehow these two roads have come together for me. And I will say that the Christ comes and talks to me today, in this time. And the Christ has been giving me teaching. So I wanted to share a little bit about that. The Christ first came to me and asked me, do you know what the resurrection is? And I said, I believe I do. And the Christ said, okay, what is it? And I said, well, they crucified you. And then they took you down from the cross and they put you in the tomb. And they rolled the stone in front of the door of the tomb. And 3 days later they came back and the stone had been rolled away and you weren't there anymore. And so they say that you were resurrected. And the Christ said to me, nope, that wasn't the resurrection. The resurrection was when they stuck the sword in my side, I forgave them. That was the resurrection. And so the Christ spoke to me about this time. What do I mean by this time? Not just today, not the last 20 years, but really like the last 5,000 years of human activity. And the Christ said that this has been a dark period, a period where humanity has been misled, has been deceived, has been immersed in illusions and delusions. And yet, there is a light that is within us. And there is a light that would call us, light to light. And so this has been a long road, multi-generation. In modern world, we tend to think of just our own generation, our own lifespan. But I know from our own culture, we speak of 7 generations. So I am actually a conglomerate, I guess you could say, of 7 generations moving together. As a single being, we could even say. And so we've been traveling generation to generation in a very difficult period. And what the Christ had to say to me was, we always have the opportunity for resurrection. How do we have that resurrection? By doing all of the work that is necessary to come to a true forgiveness. Now, we can't go from the initial feeling of understanding of hurt and jump all the way to forgiveness too quickly. And I've been hearing Father Richard Rohr speaking about this. There's a process. And I said at the beginning, we got to feel it to heal it. We have to allow in the truth of the atrocities, the harm, the pain that has taken place before we can actually, of our own, and this is such a tremendous gift, of our own free will and our consent, begin to offer forgiveness. And I'm going to say that, that forgiveness has had to come here, to myself. To myself. How can I forgive out there when I haven't forgiven this way? Forgiving my harsh mind, forgiving my hatred, forgiving my myself all that I have committed in my suffering and pain. I have an elder who spoke to me and some others earlier this week, and he said, the past wants to prevent us from being the person we came here to be. The past would prevent us from being the person we came here to be. And others around us want to hold us to that presence, that person, that mindset that the past dictates that we should be. But that the Spirit, that the light, that the earth herself actually speaks to us of freedom. And that freedom can only take place in the present. So I'm saying these things as I listen to all these beautiful minds and hearts and spirits, those who have been divinely inspired and guided and directed that have been speaking here through our time. And I'm feeling that we have an opportunity here to heal. To heal the reflection we see of ourselves and each other only through the lens of the past. Somehow we have to be able to look forward and see our reflection in the future as well. So I wanted to say those words before offering a prayer here. I have this glass of water here, which is a record of humanity and all life here on this planet. It has been here since the very, very beginning, traveling through time. All of our ancestors had a drink of this one. And so I'm going to ask that this one listen to this moment, to this gathering, to our hearts, minds, bodies, and spirits. And I will offer some of this to the earth and ask her to consider all that has been said and done here in these days. And in whatever way we need her help, her understanding of how to participate fully in the very highest possibility for life, light, and love. That we feel her influence, and feel all the life that has gone before and all the life that is to come. I call upon this medicine also, the sweetgrass, to bring the sweet medicine to soothe us deeply, to soothe us in our thinking, the patterns of our thinking, the patterns of our heart and our feeling, to open to that reflection of the future that is trying to find us. So I offer this prayer. Wakantanka, Dunkashila, Unshimaka, Shema, Shache, holy people all around, it's me, Wiakpa, Najinwin, coming before you on this holy day. Ampetukile, Wopela, Yehe. Thank you for my life. Thank you for all you give to me and to my family and to all my relations. All my relations. Thank you for making me so beautiful. Thank you for making each one of my relatives so beautiful. Thank you for placing us in such beauty. I feel it. I reach for it. I ask that you take a good look at each and every one who is listening at this time and who has listened throughout these days, all the places that this medicine that we have created together will reach, and I ask that you travel with it. Take a good look at each one. Take a good look and see where the blocks are for them to truly be able to receive grace, to truly be able to receive all the love and care you intended. We are humbled. The five-fingered ones, we humanity, we are humbled in this moment. Father Richard Rohr said earlier today he read. He said, the known must be tempered by the unknown. And this has been my experience with you, Creator. That in order to come and approach the door of the unknown, the door of the mystery that you hold, we have to humble ourselves. So I want you to see that we are humbled in this moment. We don't understand who to be, where to go, what to do. We are coming to the end of our own resource and our own knowing. And so in this moment, I call out for you and ask that you meet us there. That you meet our fears, that you meet our struggle, and finally, that you meet our surrender, where all we can do is place ourselves before your heart, before your love, before your light, and say, teach me, do with me as you will, and I will serve. Help us to find that place. And it is from that place, Creator, that I ask for vision, for understanding, for our next steps, each one of us, for our next steps, for how to move out from this place, from this gathering, and travel on the roads that we have been given. Bless each and every one. Bless our children, bless our elders. Bless this whole earth. Wopila, itakuye oyasin. Khoshanana hasli, khoshanana hasli, khoshanana hasli, khoshanana hasli. In beauty it is finished. In beauty it is finished. In beauty it is finished. In beauty it is finished.
Way, ah, yo, oh, way, ah, hope you've had a wonderful weekend. Once again, my name is Terry Pecos. I'm from Jemez Pueblo. This song that we're going to sing here is called a round dance, a friendship dance, a coming together dance. So we're all, together. We can hold hands, or if if we were in a circle at a powwow or wherever we may be at a plaza, we would be holding hands, during this song. It's a happy time, that we'll be together for that time, and then we'll part ways with that song also, so that we can always remember each other in a good way, and that feeling that we've had together throughout our days, will be remembered, and it will become a part of our life as we go forward. And just to stay strong, that we're all human beings. We're going to make mistakes. We're not always going to say the right thing. We're not always going to do the right thing, except that, when we acknowledge those things, we become stronger, and we go through, every person goes through something, to make them stronger through life, and, to always be helpful with each other, so this friendship dance, it's a time to be happy. We all go our separate ways, but we don't go very far because we're always close to each other, so we're going to do this friendship dance, and this goes out to you. Way, hey, ya, way, way, ya, hey, ya, way, ya, way, ya, way, ya, way, ya, hey, ya, way, ya, way, ya, way, ya, hey, ya, way, ya, hey, ya, way, ya, hey, ya, oh, way, ya, hey, ya, oh, way, ya, hey, ya, way, ya, hey, ya, way, ya, hey, ya, oh, way, ya, hey, ya, oh, way, ya, hey, ya, way, ya, hey, way, ya, hi, ya, way, ya, hey, ya, hey, way, ya, way, ya, way, ya, hey, ya, way, ya, hey, ya, way, ya, hey, ya, oh, way, ya, hey, ya, oh, way, ya, hey, ya, way, ya, hey, ya, way, ya, hey, ya, oh, way, ya, hey, ya, oh, way, ya, hey, ya, way, ya, hi, ya, way, 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 ya, hey, ya, way, ya, way, ya, way, ya, hey, 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 ya, on the trail, way, ya, hey, ya, way, ya, hey, ya, always somewhere missing you. You are my only starlight tonight, way, ya, hi, ya, way, ya, hi, ya, way, ya, way, ya, way, ya, way, ya, way, ya, hi, ya, way, ya, hey, ya, way, ya, way, ya, way, ya, hey, 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 ya, way, ya, hi, ya, way, ya, hi, ya, way, ya, hey, ya, way, ya, way, ya, way, ya, hey, 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 ya, way, ya, hi, ya, way, ya, hi, ya, way, ya, hey, ya, way, ya, way, ya, way, ya, hi, ya, way, ya, hey, ya, way, ya, way, ya, way, ya, hey, ya, way, ya, hey, ya, way, ya, hey, ya, way, ya, hey, ya. trail, oh way-ya, hey-ya, hey, way-ya, hey-ya. Always somewhere missing you. You are my only starlight tonight. Oh way-ya, hi-ya, hey. Woo!
Close our eyes, the current sweeps right over us. Feel the world spin round again for only us. Hold your breath, we're diving into something bigger than anything we've ever been. Love be lighthouse, oh, to lead you home. Stars and the moon illuminating every road. Rest your mind, it's always been there all along. Sense of belonging to a greater unknown. Hold your breath, we're diving into something real and right. Love alive, my satellite. Love be a lighthouse, oh, to lead you home. Stars and the moon illuminating every road. All through the seasons, no matter